Alright, let's see what we've got here today. Let me find it. CP3 pump, customer sent in, wanted it tested, but that's all the turning she'll do. So I'm going to get it apart. Using a hammer for a wrench. Don't act like you've never done that. That's really, what's it got in there? Piece of a plastic bag in the threads. Okay, old nasty dirty rag. And 2 ultrasonics going in the background. What have they done here? Why would you do that? Open ports, banjo bolt. You're seeing rust up in the hole here. No, it looks clean. Let's see what year this is. 2005, 6 month. Alright, I'm going to get it apart. Oh, but look down in the inlet. Can you see the inlet there? Yeah. Nastiness. Okay. Get my T30. Now, one thing to, well, I don't know how many of you is doing this. Probably not many. One thing to look for when you pull this cover off is the thrust washer. It's behind the cover. A lot of times it'll just fall out. Yep, see, the thrust washer falls out. So that's got to be repaired. You got to stake that back in there. Yeah, and look at the inside of this pump. And ain't no wonder plungers are stuck in it. So get the shaft out and always check them for, got a pretty good gouge in that one. Well, it may just be buildup. Once I get it cleaned, we'll find out. Let me go ahead and get the tappets and the plungers out of it here. Okay. These are tools. They make these now that you can buy. I made these in about probably 2006 or 7. TIG welded all that together. But they work. Still work to this day. Probably spent 3 or 4 hours making them. But they've been in use for 17 years. Let's see if I can get the, it's still too tight. I can get the polygonal ring out. Let me do this. Since it's got a plunger that's stuck, I don't know if I can get this thing apart. Let's see, I gotta get behind that with something. That punch go behind it? Yeah. Oh yeah, this thing is really stuck. It ain't coming out. Probably what I'm gonna have to do, I'm probably gonna have to put it in the ultrasonic. Well, wait, it may be going there. Yeah, it ain't, really ain't budging. Oh, and you should smell it. Ooh, it stinks. Yep, that ain't gonna work. I'm just gonna have to dunk it in the ultrasonic and hope that it gets rid of all that. It's varnished up. The diesel fuel just kind of turns into like a varnish, and the plungers end up sticking in it. So let's see, let me dig all these O-rings out, because they're just going to fall out anyway. Alright, get the supply pump off. See if the supply pump's locked up. No, it's free. Alright, I'll get the rest of this apart. Get the these caps and stuff off of it. Well, let me reset you. I'll show you how we get all the rest of it apart. Alright. Get all this junk out of here. I normally go across here. Guess I'll do that again. Now this body is made out of forged steel, so it ain't like you're gonna hurt it clamping it like that in a vise. So don't think, oh, you're gonna squeeze it and damage it. I've built absolutely thousands of these pumps and had no trouble yet. Alright, now I need that was a 17 millimeter. We get a T50. And see, I don't have it clamped all that tight to begin with. Get over here. Let's see. I guess I'll get the top two. I'll get these caps out first. Then I'll flip it over and clamp it again. There's 3 check balls in here. These may not be, well no, they look to be ceramic. Most of the time, wore my socket out. Most of the time they are ceramic and we replace them with steel. And I'll show you here. Just dumping that on this dirty shop towel here. And we'll see what's in it. And they don't want to come out. To blow them out, I guess. Huh. Well, I ain't gonna worry about them. Wasn't gonna reuse them anyway. Golly. Yeah, this pump's been sitting forever. Get the suction valves out. So I'm not too concerned with keeping these parts in order, but the plungers to the bores and the tappets in their bores, absolutely. They have a wear pattern. Suction valve. Okay, one to go. Come on. Alright, suction valve out of that one. And let's see if the balls. No, they're varnished in there. I can see them. It's just nasty back in there. Let me get, there's a couple of T30 plugs for these passages where they cross drill them. Yeah, that ain't going to come out. See if I can give it a little inspiration here. Okay. And this one. And you probably can't see none of this, I would imagine. Yeah, I guess you can a little bit of it. So next is to put it in ultrasonic and let it do its thing and see if I can get it the rest of the way apart. It's stuck. He's stuck big time. One thing I did want to show you while we're here, just look at that. Ugh. So there's a filter right here, and it's a T30 as well, but I mean, I can forget doing that. I'm going to have to give it a couple of bumps here before I can even get the filter out. We'll see what's been running through the pump. Now, a 6.7 and Duramax pumps don't have this. Come up better than I thought it would. Yeah, it don't really look too bad. Oh no, it's got junk in it. Let's see if you can see it. See down here next to the end. That's the purpose of it. So 6.7, so this is right at the inlet. On the 6.7, it's after the supply pump. So it's inside there. It's like in one of these passages here after this supply pump. So I'll get this cleaned up, all these parts, and we'll come back and we'll see what we've got. Alright, I've cleaned the pump body in the ultrasonic. Now I'm going to see if it'll come apart so I can put it back in there again. Seems like that one's moving now. Let's see here. Can't tell yet. Too soon to tell. Just jumped off of my sleeve. And it's still stuck. Still stuck. I got it out. Polygonal ring looks good. It'll get cleaned again though. Alright. Let's see. Start up here at the top. Not that it makes any difference. We'll keep these in order. So there's our top tappet. So now I just form these in the shape of a triangle. We'll take them out. What I do with control valve. Push it out. Okay. Spring, it'll get clean too. Got some pitting. Yeah. So I'm looking for scratching in the bore, but you can see this pitting down here should be shiny all the way down. Let me get the others out. Look at them. Sometimes this stuff, I guess this thing just sat too long. That one don't look so bad, and likely that that pitting is down below the motion of the linear action of the tappet anyway. It's not going to hurt anything. What I'll probably do is I'll use my buffing wheel to get rid of the rest of that. Oh, that one there is definitely stuck big time. It ain't budging. Well, let me take my plastic hammer. I'm afraid that this pump is not going to be any good, especially if I can't get that tappet out. Let's see here. I'll have to try to come out. There she came. I always use a plastic hammer so that way you're not going to damage the surface. So we can see that one there. It looks okay up in the bore, and I think it was up pretty much as far as it goes. I think I can polish that out. This tappet though, it's done for. Look at that. I'll have to replace that. Well, that may just be built up. It may be okay. I'll clean it and then we'll come back to it. So here we go again. 1, 2, and 3. So that's number 3. Get the springs. So, all right, I'll bring you back when I get it all cleaned up. By the way, Morgan, this is your pump. So what have I done off the camera? Cleaned everything. Everything's ready. I polished the plungers. Number 1 seemed to be the worst, but looks like I've been able to get rid of most everything. That's below the motion of the tappet, so it shouldn't be a problem there. It is some etching onto the surface. Polished the shaft. Turned out looks really good. You can see there. Got some smudges on it from my fingers. So I'm going to start by going ahead and putting the tappets in it. So what I do is just, if it'll come out, a little bit of lubricant on them, and put the springs on. Make sure we got good motion. It's oily now it's slippery. So get that one back into the bore here. Like I've never done this before. I've done it 98,642 times. Okay, now I've got the second one. Now some of you might be saying, oh, why are you not miking those parts, miking the bore and miking the plunger? And well, I've done this enough. I know what to look for. But if you want to know what these measure, let's just see. So the tappet is 7.493 microns. Let me make sure that I'm cleaned and zero on my micrometer. And I'll even get it over here to where you can see what I'm doing. Let's see if you can see the micrometer in that. I don't know that you can read it, but I'm not going to lie to you. Let me go back and make sure we're zero to begin with. Yep, that's, we're negative a micron, -3, -2. Let's see, 0. Okay. Go back. Yep. Still 0. So should be roughly 7.5. 7.498. That's what I get 3 times in a row. 7.498. Let me get my bore gauge. We'll measure the bore now. I can find it. Don't use it very often. Oh, let's see where it is. Bore gauge. Where would you be? It'll be in here somewhere. There it is. Small bore gauges. So we've got 7.5 to 10 millimeter. Too tight. That's about it right there. Hmm. 7.499. So we got about 3 microns of clearance there. So that's good. Put these over here so I don't forget them. Okay. Get that out of the way. Okay. Bring it back over here. And let me get another drop of oil. Okay. Put spring on. Tap it in. Okay. A little oil on the bushing and the thrust sides and the 3 wire surfaces. We'd call them lobes, but that's really not what they are. So get all that lubed up good. And oh, we got a little issue with this one, I think. That or I bent my tool trying to get that last one out. think that's what I've done. I bent my tool. Let's see which one it is. It's this one. I'll put it in the vise and straighten it. Or I'll tell you what I'll do so I don't have to fool with that right now. There's this old jobby here. That should do it. Okay. And get these off. I have to make sure that I work on that one before I use it again. Well, let me just fix it on here. Okay. Yeah, let's straight now. Okay, next thing is going to be to lube up the shaft and put it in. And let's see, get a punch. So what you've got to do to get this in, you've got to line up your shaft. There's a rear bushing. Just like that. And so when you rotate it, as you can see, it oscillates in the bore. Well, yeah, that would be an oscillation, I guess. So next thing is to fix the thrust bearing. And it appears that that is the outside. Nope. Flip it over. So you see where it's loose in there? They get that way. So what I do is take a hammer and a punch and go back in these stake holes. And restake it, and it's in there now. Line up the one hole with the one port. Okay, and then I always do that by hand. And then I like to get a little bit of oil on my finger and just run the starting edge of the threads. Oh, if I can get it back in there. Just enough to get a little bit of lubricant on there. Okay, now this is a T30. Now, this is a Bosch tool. This is a Bosch pump, so should be the right torque. Yeah, that's ridiculous, huh? So I always tighten these up generally tighter than what you think they would need to be, simply because I know they're going to stretch over time, and if you don't over tighten them, now not to the point of breaking, that Bosch torque driver just, you know, it's just got the right amount of torque. So I'll just kind of overdo it on that. Alright, now I'm going to get steel balls for the back of the pump. And just drop them in the hole. These are 5mm. Let me check, make sure I ain't lying to you. Yeah, 4.997 to be exact. And we'll get a little bit of oil on these plugs. Let's see, that's a 17. Those are T50s. Oh, my torques fell out. I'll have to torque these in the vise. I'll get set up and do that in a minute. Let's see, still need that. So let's get a 17mm socket. Okay. And let's put the plugs back in. Let's see if I can get a little oil here. A little bit more oil off of the table where that was sitting. Okay, so we got all that done. Now to put the suction valves in. Yeah, that'll be all right there. And put a little bit of oil on the cap. And the O-ring goes up on the, you can call it a cap or a plug. Same difference, I guess. Okay, and suction valve, O-ring, alright, and third. Also be mindful of how clean all this came. Okay, I got to clean the screen. I want to show you how clean it is. So got it good and clean. Okay, good there. So, this cascade valve, I believe, is stuck. Let me see if I can free it up. There we go. A little drop of oil in it. This is the cascade valve. Spring loaded. Tension feels right, so I'm going to stick it in there. This is a 16mm hex. Alright, let me go ahead and torque these caps. I think I'm going to try to grab it over here. Come on. what I'll do is I'll check them again once I get it on the test stand. Okay, the only thing we're lacking is the supply pump, and need to knock the rivets out, check it, make sure that things are alright in it. Okay, now I'll show you how you can reuse these rivets. Okay, do that again now. You can see some side loading from the gear here. You can see the wire, a little bit of it there. But typical, it's not worn through yet, and you can just barely feel it. So here's what I'm going to do. Surface plate, now you can see a little bit better how much wire's on it. Not much, that's a machining mark right there, but this is where the gear's been rubbing against it here, and it's tight. Yeah, it's really tight where it's had that varnish in it. I'm going to take this, put it back in the ultrasonic, disassemble, so it'll get good and clean. So I'll get you back once I get this all cleaned up and ready to put back together. Alright, got the supply pump cleaned up. Just a little bit of oil in there. So these gears they've got a little dot on one side. The dot faces up, and they don't have to, they don't time or anything. So you can just put them in there however you want. And then you've got these two little drive lugs, and sometimes it's a little difficult to figure out exactly how they go in there. Ha! Easier than I remembered. So now we're going to put the rivets back in. I don't remember if he wanted modifications done to this pump. I don't think he did. So I ain't going to worry about it. How does that thing stick in there? Okay, so I don't know if you can see this or not. So let me spin you around here so you can. So this is how you recrimp these rivets. So what it is, they've got a little recess in them, and you see this punch here fits inside that recess to knock it out without screwing it up, and then we just crimp them back over, and it's really that easy. Alright, let me get you back looking in the right direction here. Okay, put our seal in. And so this has a drive tang that looks like a giant straight bladed screwdriver. And what you'll have to do is rotate that to get it lined up. Need a little bit more oil. Move up the threads. That's not the right tool for the job. Now, I don't ring those down. Next, I'm going to make sure that it's going to turn over. Yep, it's fine. And get the brackets and get ready to go on the test stand. So, mount it up. Get the O-ring off here. Got oil on my fingers. Okay, let's see, it's top. Now he should have should be a fuel control actuator for this thing somewhere. I'll have to find it. Alright. That 19mm 3/4. Man calling. Okay, and then I got to put the nut on. The way it is when you're a single person running a business. Okay, 2 fittings. This is the fuel inlet and the outlet. So next, is that his? I don't think so. No, that's a newer one. Okay, I'll get this thing mounted up on the test stand and I'll see you there. Alright. Got to get a screw for this thing. And get it connected. Alright. Fuel inlet. Fuel outlet. And I gotta connect my about tripped. That didn't feel good, especially on my bad knee. Okay. Get the PC started up. Trying to think what I run yesterday. Cummins pump. Run 2 Duramax pumps. Control Alt Delete. big head out of the way here. Emergency stop has been triggered. This is my software. Can you even see it? You can't see my software. Gotta get the camera handle up here. Give the jostling about. So this is our software. Test plan for modern equivalent of this pump is a 147, what we would call it, and goes up to 160 MPa at 3,500 RPM. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to run it at like 750 RPM. Make sure we're making pressure, no leaks or anything. Get you back down here where you can look at the pump while it's running. Get my torques. Alright, see if the fuel control actuator works. Put it. Let me get you back up on the screen again. So I put it in manual mode, and 1500 RPM. Supply pump's on. I'm going to command pressure. Improp's bad. So probably I'm not gonna worry about that now. I'm just gonna get it warmed up. The improp is stuck wide open. So that's the reason I couldn't cut the pressure back. So we're not controlling the pressure right now with the improp. We're controlling it with our DRV valve. So nothing's warmed up. The flow numbers, until the machine gets warmed up, they're going to be skewed. Till we get both the pump and the temperature of the calibration fluid up in the 30-some degrees Celsius, you know, approaching 40 degrees Celsius, we're not going to see the right flow number. So I have calibrated it to give us the correct flow numbers with everything up at operating temperature. So I'm going to run this test, turn both supply pumps on. Oh, we're still in manual mode. Got to put it back to auto. Okay. What I'll do is just let it run at this setting until it gets up to operating temperature. Then I'll restart the video, restart the recording once we get everything warmed up. So I've run everything with the exception of the 3,500 RPM test. We're going to run that now. The pump is warmed up, which is fine. The machine is not. It's probably going to be up in the 30s once what's in the reserve chamber gets dumped back to the tank. So we're fine. You can see that 97, 89, 94, 98, 96% volumetric efficiency. Now we're going to run 3,500 RPM test. So that's the same as a brand new stock pump flows, 201 liters per hour. Generally they'll flow 200 to 203 to 205, somewhere in that neighborhood, right at 200 from there to roughly 203 or 2. In some cases I've seen as much as 205. It just depends on the temperature of the pump. So I mean, this pump is as good as a brand new one now. So you see everything that we have to go through, and this is a little over a 2-hour job. Testing, I don't really count testing time as a time factor, because sometimes the machine's already warmed up and the pumps warm up quickly. Sometimes everything is cold, so it takes 2 or 3 times as longer, you know, to get everything up to temperature. But the total build time of the pump is just a little over 2 hours time. You pull it apart, you clean everything, you inspect it, and you put it back together. So this is kind of what you look at. So it's $150 to test the pump, 2 hours of shop labor at $125 an hour. So you know, we're roughly 300. No, it'd be 250, 150, 400 bucks roughly to do this. But you see, he's got a pump that's just like a brand new one now, and you certainly can't buy a brand new pump. I just sold one the other day, and it was almost $1,000. So it was $900 and some exchange for a brand new Bosch. So I mean, that's just kind of where we're at here. So if you need any of this work done, keep us in mind. Hope that this was informational for you, and I'm sure that we'll be doing other pumps, and you know, be showing you the ins and outs of doing those as well. Thank you for watching. If you got any questions, drop them down there in the comments, and we'll catch you on the next one.